Hello, friends. This is Avis, and I'm taking a little break from my scripted podcast series to just talk about a couple things. And this is going to have some awkward things in it. One is going to be me talking about some spiritual concepts I've learned about very recently. One as recently as this morning on the Be Here Now podcast with Ram Dass, and it's episode 283. And it's on helping, but a liberated form of helping versus a righteous form of helping, and being able to realize that suffering will continue to happen, but that we can be determined to be of help in the world, but we can't be attached to the result. So that's a concept that I think is related to what I'm going to read today. Um, the other thing is this little Shakespeare Sherpa club that I've had now for a year. I can't believe it's been a year, but I've been reading a play a month. And it started out by thinking, well, maybe I'll try to do a little club where I send out Shakespeare books, but Shakespeare books are everywhere. Nobody needs to be mailed a Shakespeare book. And so I thought, well, I'm going to do this anyway and just have a little free club. And so I have an email with some resources. It's on my website, aviskalfsbeck.com/Shakespeare Sherpa. And each month I read the play and then I do a creative project. So it has been primarily writing some things based on an aspect of the play. And this isn't a creative project that takes hours. When I finish the play, usually on the day or two before the end of the month, like today it's the 30th, it's the very end of the month. And this podcast is my creative project. But usually it's writing something. I may end up publishing a little mini book at the end of finishing the plays, which there are over 30 plays, so it's a 3-year project. One thing I did this summer was I took some stones and put them on a piece of paper with a quote from the book. And so in quotes is 1 in a million. And then I have Robin, which is Puck. Then fate o'errules that one man holding truth, a million fail confounding oath on oath. And I have that here in front of me. So they're just little tiny things, something that strikes me within the play. And I have a little mini journal when I start the book. I have the table of contents that is also downloadable on the website. Because I find sometimes you're like, who are these people? Some of these plays have so many characters. And I'm like, who are these people again? And I can glance at the table of contents, and not that it always reminds me who they are, but it's helpful. And I have a tiny journal that I do for each one where I'll just write if a word sounds interesting. It may just be phonetically interesting. I don't have any rules about what words I'm going to write down. I know that for King John, I wrote down room, Rheum means tears. I know I've written that word down before. So that's what I do. So Shakespeare related to peace for me so far this year reading the plays is just kind of letting it all kind of fall on over me. There's so many violent and tragic and gruesome scenes in many of Shakespeare's books. So, reading words on war, and then also people struggling with that within his plays. So that's related to peace for me. And I have my little bullets here since I am riffing to kind of stay on track. I already talked about the projects. So reading this play for me is just like, seems a little crazy. I wasn't an English literature major. I was never a huge Shakespeare fan. I enjoyed the plays that I would see here and there. Whoops, bouncing my microphone around. But it's a ritual for me, and I think rituals can be very peaceful, and they could be anything. Something that's elaborate, something that's very simple, and that's what this is for me. And I'll read a little bit, sometimes a little bit once a day, other times, like I went on a road trip recently, so my reading was more condensed into the end of the month this month, but it feels nice to have these rituals. And so what I'm doing for my monthly project is I am reading. The thing that struck me was the scene by Constance, who is Arthur's mother, when she is in deep grief. And this is Act 3, Scene 4. And what it brought to mind, Edna St. Vincent Millay's poem, Dirge Without Music. So these are both um, a scene and a poem of grief, and it touches me because I think of mothers on the battlefield. So, on the theme of peace, and when I talk about peace, I certainly try to live my life and have a practice to develop personal peace through my meditation and what I read and how I live my life. And I am far from perfect at it. Just ask my dog Teo. But when I speak about peace on the podcast, or that I want to be, oh, he's scratching, or that I want to be a scholar of peace. And the reason I'm doing my podcast and talking about the various topics that I know nothing about is because I want to learn about it. I really sincerely want to learn about it. And some of the recent series, like the one I'm currently in, I've finished producing it, but it's playing out right now. The Great Disarmament, The Great Disarmament is I knew that these treaties had started, during this whole nuclear proliferation. Well, what were the treaty dates? Has the Great Disarmament has it begun? I believe it has, and we're in it, and we're moving it forward. Because if we can believe that peace is possible, if we can imagine war and destroying things as humans, why couldn't we imagine a world of peace and create that? So, this little bit I'm going to read is the awkward part of the show. Feel free to fast forward 10 seconds beyond Avis's reading of Shakespeare, but I have been reading aloud for a year. Today, for the first time, I read standing up. I finished King John, actually. I'm going to stand up today, finish this book. Um, and so I'm going to read the scene where Constance is in grief, and then I'm going to read the Edna, Edna St. Vincent Millay poem, Dirge Without Music. Peace and love. Act 3, Scene 4 of King John. Enter Constance with her hair unbound. King Philip, look who comes here, a grave unto a soul, holding the eternal spirit against her will, in the vile prison of afflicted breath. I prithee, lady, go away with me. Constance, lo, now see the issue of your peace. King Philip, patience, good lady, comfort, gentle Constance. Constance, no, I defy all counsel, all redress, but that which ends all counsel, true redress. Death, death, O amiable, lovely death, thou odoriferous stench, sound rottenness, arise forth from the couch of lasting night. Thou hate and terror to prosperity, and I will kiss thy detestable bones, and put my eyeballs in thy vaulty brows, and wring these fingers with thy household worms, and stop this gap of breath with fulsome dust, and be a carrion monster like thyself. Come, grin on me, and I will think thou smilest, and bust thee as thy wife. Misery's love, oh come to me. King Philip, O fair affliction, peace. Constance. No, no, I will not, having breath to cry. Oh, that my tongue were in the thunder's mouth. Then with a passion would I shake the world and rouse from sleep that fell anatomy which cannot hear a lady's feeble voice, which scorns a modern invocation. Pandulph. Lady, you utter madness and not sorrow. Constance. Thou art not holy to belie me so. I am not mad. This hair I tear is mine. My name is Constance. I was Geoffrey's wife. Young Arthur is my son, and he is lost. I am not mad. I would to heaven I were, for then 'tis like I should forget myself. Oh, if I could, what grief should I forget? Preach some philosophy to make me mad, and thou shalt be canonized cardinal. For being not mad, but sensible of grief, my reasonable part produces reason, how I may be delivered of these woes, and teaches me to kill or hang myself. If I were mad, I should forget my son, or madly think a babe of clouts were he. I am not mad. Too well, I feel the different plague of each calamity. King Philip. Bind up those tresses. Oh, what I love I note in the fair multitude of those her hairs. But where by chance a silver drop hath fallen, even to that drop 10,000 wiry friends do glue themselves in sociable grief, like true, inseparable, faithful loves, sticking together in calamity. Constance, to England, if you will. King Philip, bind up your hairs. Constance, yes, that I will. And wherefore will I do it? I tore them from their bonds and cried aloud, oh, that these hands could so redeem my son, and they have given these hairs their liberty. But now I envy at their liberty, and will again commit them to their bonds, because my poor child is a prisoner. She binds up her hair. And Father Cardinal, I've heard you say that we shall see and know our friends in heaven. If that be true, I shall see my boy again. For since the birth of Cain, the first male child, to him that did but yesterday suspire, there was not such a gracious creature born. But now will canker sorrow eat my bud and chase the native beauty from his cheek, and he will look as hollow as a ghost, as dim and meager as an og's fit, and so he'll die, and rising so again, when I shall meet him in the court of heaven, I shall not know him. Therefore never, never must I behold my pretty Arthur more. Pandulph, you hold too heinous a respect of grief. Constance, he talks to me that never had a son. King Philip, you are as fond of grief as of your child. Constance, grief fills the room up of my absent child, lies in his bed and walks up and down with me, puts on his pretty looks and repeats his words, remembers me of all his gracious parts, stuffs out his vacant garments with this form. Then have I reason to be fond of grief? Fare you well. Had you such a loss as I could give better comfort than you do. She unbinds her hair. I will not keep this form upon my head when there is such disorder in my wit. O Lord, my boy, my Arthur, my fair son, my life, my joy, my food, my all the world, my widow comfort, and my sorrow's cure. She exits. Dirge Without Music by Edna St. Vincent Millay. I am not resigned to the shutting away of loving hearts in the hard ground. So it is, and so it will be, for so it has been time out of mind. Into the darkness they go, the wise and the lovely. Crowned with lilies and with laurel they go, but I am not resigned. Lovers and thinkers into the earth with you, be one with the dull, the indiscriminate dust. A fragment of what you felt, of what you knew, a formula, a phrase remains, but the best is lost. The answers quick and keen, the honest look, the laughter, the love, they're gone. They're gone to feed the roses. Elegant and curled is the blossom. Fragrant is the blossom, I know, but I do not approve. More precious was the light in your eyes than all the roses in the world. Down, down, down into the darkness of the grave. Gently they go, the beautiful, the tender, the kind. Quietly they go, the intelligent, the witty, the brave. I know, but I do not approve. and I am not resigned. That wraps up this episode of Pieces Here. Will you please take a moment to subscribe and share it with a friend? Subscribing helps others discover peaceful, independent storytelling, and it means a lot to me. I'm Avis Kaufsbeck, author of the Pedro the Water Dog Saves the Planet series, eco-adventure novellas for readers who care about environmental justice, joy, and saving the world one story at a time. You can learn more at aviskaufsbeck.com. Book 6, Mono Mutante, is now available at all major online retailers, or if you'd like to support my book directly, you can get the ebook at aviskaufsbeck.com/mono-mutante. It's a wild satirical ride through food, farming, and the messiness of recovery. When you subscribe to my list, you'll also be the first to hear about my next book, Bulletproof, which asks, what in the world are we going to do about guns? A link to subscribe is in the show notes. From October 18th to November 8th, 2025, I'm running a live Kickstarter campaign. I'd be so grateful if you'd visit aviskaufsbeck.com/Kickstarter to get notified. I'm creating a companion field journal for Book 1 more year called Peace Stuff Primer, along with a stage play version of the book. I can't wait to share it with you. This episode was human narrated by me with the help of AI, which has promised to let me know if it ever makes something up. So far, no confessions, but if you think I've missed something or if you just want to say hello, I'd love to hear from you. Podcast music is by Javier Peque Rodriguez. You'll find links to his music on Spotify and Bandcamp in the show notes. I'm Avis Kaufsbeck. Thank you again. Until next time, listen for the peace.